what if I have this requirement where I need to have a home address and an office address? So I need two address objects inside the same class. How would it work? So let's say, for example, I define again at embedded private address. Let me call this home address, and I'll call this office address. Okay, this is a fair enough requirement. You can embed, you can have any number of instances of an object inside this model object. In that case, how would it work? Home address, yes, it's going to go look it up. Street underscore name, city underscore name, state underscore name, yes, it's going to create. Now it goes to office address. Now again, street underscore name, no, it cannot create that because there's already a column with that name. So this is a problem. Now how do we solve this? We can solve this by overriding the default name when you are embedding. Now when I'm embedding this home address, I don't want it to take this default street underscore name. I want it to have a home underscore street underscore name, say for example. So I can override the column names here so that it does not take the default. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if I have multiple such objects, I can give unique names for each of those objects so that there is no conflict. And then each of those objects can have a set of columns which are to be created for this address object. Now, how do I actually do the override? I use what is called as attribute override tag. This attribute override tag, again from Java x.persistence, it helps me configure all the attributes, let's say reconfigure all the attributes that have been either configured here, or I can change the default behavior so that I can make it specific to my needs, and secondly I can make it distinct so that there's no overlap between different objects. Okay, inside this attribute override, so I can give name equals. Now when I say name, I need to give the name of the attribute inside this home address that I'm overriding. So this tag is for this whole object. Now I'm saying I want to override the way the home address is embedded. Now I also need to specify what are the fields that I want to override. Now home address has street name, city name, state name, pin code. If I'm doing if I'm configuring two such embedded objects, I will obviously have to override all of those properties, at least for one of these objects. I can leave this as, say, office address, I can leave it as it is so that it takes these default values. But for one of these two objects, I will have to override each and every field. So first of all, what I do is I specify the field name. In this case, it's street. So let's start with street.